What's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. Hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell, and come join this family called Stock Up with Larry Jones. Listen, we're going to talk about crypto and crypto only. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. A lot of you are not subscribed. Crypto is not over, good people. I don't think it's over. Now, first, I'm going to say anything I say is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell. And anything I'm going to say is not facts. It's not 100% facts, good people, but it's what I think, okay? And I'm put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to react on everything I say and I think, okay? It's up to you to do your own research. Please do not fall for spam in the comment section, for I am talking about crypto. And the crypto spammers are some of the worst scum of the earth, right? All right, let's just talk about a few things and we'll go from there. Now, I know that 90% of you guys that are looking at me right now, 90%, you got some red in your crypto portfolio. A lot of you guys are upside down in your XRP. You're upside down in your memes, okay? Upside down in half of your alts and your memes. You're taking a bath, a bloodbath, if you didn't have stop losses, okay? You just start, okay? I want to speak to you, all right? I want to speak to you today. There's cycles and then there's altered cycles. And this cycle seems like it's an altered cycle, not for the bad, but actually for the good. Now, some of us have jumped the gun on what we were buying and when. So when it was still Bitcoin dominance, right? We're in a 4-year cycle that is altering into a 4.5-year or maybe 5-year cycle. So I'm going to play some interviews with some pretty interesting stuff that I need you guys to listen to if you're holding crypto. There was a reason why I said I would not be buying any memes right now. Though I have some memes, I froze buying any memes months ago because it wasn't time. And I get it. You think alt season was taking off. I thought all of us thought alt season was about to start. And then what happens? So if alt season is going to take off, I got you. Then you say, well, let me invest in some of these memes now where they might really pop off. They start to really multiply. But then we get this foolishness, biggest liquidation in history, and boom, now your memes tanking, like by some of them by 30%. Okay, some of your meme coins. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys, and I want you guys to look at some positive things that are going to happen or happening as it pertains to all of your crypto. So now these are some of the positive things that are expected to happen that is positive for crypto. The number of times the Federal Reserve is likely to cut interest rates before its chairman leaves is uncertain. But analysts expect 2 more cuts, right, in 2025 and 1 in 2026. Okay, that's what analysts expect. But we're also going to talk about the amount of times he can cut. So now we could see that there are 2 more 25 basis points apiece. There are 1 expected October and then 1 in December. There is no November FOMC meeting. So we have an FOMC meeting, which is the Fed's decision, rate cut decision. It's happening this Wednesday. The meeting starts Tuesday. He will make the 25 basis point cut, hopefully, this Wednesday. And, you know, the dog and pony show happens. Now, what is this FOMC meeting pertains to crypto? If the Fed is in a rate cutting cycle, that's positive for crypto. We want him to continue to cut. So he's expected to cut October, which is this Wednesday, and then again in December. But I want you to also look at this, good people. Okay? The Fed is on his way out. So next meeting, we see this final meeting 25, and then term expiration. Powell's in, he's out May of 2026. Okay, Powell's term ends May of 2026. So now, how many meetings do we have? He's out in May, so you got April. Well, there is no May FOMC meeting. See that, good people? So we got January, February, March, right? He's expected to cut in January. So after January, so we got October, November, and January of 2026. Then we have to see, data dependent, if he's going to do anything in March and April. After that, the president is going to put in a dovish Fed. If he doesn't cut in April or March, the president is going to put in a dovish Fed who's going to cut, or do one big fat cut here. Okay? So you follow that timeline, stick with me because this has everything to do with your crypto. All right? So now, I want you to understand that you have big banks. Let's shift and see what institutions is doing with their crypto and why they are long and they are holding until 2026.
Big Bitcoin holders are using a new generation of ETFs to transfer their wealth off the blockchain without selling. Bloomberg's Emily Grafeo reported on these in-kind transactions, and she joins us now. How are they doing it?
So the SEC approved in-kind transactions in spot Bitcoin ETFs back in the summer. This is a kind of transaction that happens in most ETFs. But basically, we spoke to asset managers that have these ETFs that are saying that high net worth investors are coming to them saying, I made a ton of money in Bitcoin. I want to bring it into the regulated financial system. So what they're doing is they're taking their Bitcoin and they're giving it to the ETF. They're getting back shares of a Bitcoin ETF in return that then they can use for lending, collateral, margin, because it's an ETF as opposed to Bitcoin holdings that they had like in a cold wallet.
So TradFi to the rescue again.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's pretty circular here. BlackRock said that they've already facilitated more than 3 billion of these transactions. Bitwise said they're getting calls basically every day for investors looking to do this. And sometimes it's someone looking to take all of their Bitcoin holdings and move it to the ETF. Sometimes it's someone just looking for maybe 20% of what they own.
Just 10 seconds. Why are the ETFs popular for this?
Because you can make this change, what we believe to be tax-free, because there's no selling involved. So you can kind of move into this ETF and you don't have to actually sell your Bitcoin holdings. You just kind of swap them.
So while a lot of people are just tapping out, institutions are holding, and not only are they holding, so just so you'll know, wealthy people don't sell their assets, right? Not all of them, okay? They borrow against it. So now what they're doing with their Bitcoin is they're transferring it from their Coinbase over into their ETFs through like IBIT, which is BlackRock's ETF. So they're holding their Bitcoin. Why? They expect it to be higher. They have already made a ton of money and they expect it to be higher in 2026. So they're not selling it because if they sell it, they get taxed. Follow? And so now they are holding because they believe it's going higher. And when you hear, if you haven't heard, how high Tom Lee thinks is going, it's going to blow your mind. So now, roughly 2/3 of institutional investors remain optimistic about Bitcoin's perspective heading into 2026. Like I just said, according to Coinbase institutional latest survey. So you can see that Coinbase found that 67% of its institutional investors are bullish on Bitcoin, even as some believe that the market is near the end of its bull run. Major treasury firms like BitMine and Strategy continue to accumulate crypto. Coinbase expects rate cuts and global stimulus to support Bitcoin momentum in 2025. Now, I want you to hear this, what Mr. Tom Lee is saying, and then I'm going to comment.
This year, gold's up 60-ish%, Bitcoin's up 18 to 20%, depending on the day. Do you think that on December 31st of 2025, we'll actually look back and could Bitcoin have outperformed gold in 2025, even though it has such a big lead right now?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of time. We have 10 weeks. As you know, Bitcoin makes its move in 10 days a year. So are Bitcoin's best days in the fourth quarter? Probably, because we have catalysts, the Fed's easing. We have a shutdown that's been risk off. We have China-US tensions that, look, every time there's a headline on China, like Bitcoin takes a gut punch, right? Because it is money flows and deleveraging. So that goes away. We have seasonality that favors stocks moving up. Stocks moving helps Bitcoin. So to me, the chances of Bitcoin having a huge fourth quarter are really high. And not all of these would be tailwinds for gold. So I wouldn't count. I still think it's possible for Bitcoin to hit 200,000 by the end of the year.
Yep, you heard that right. Tom Lee still expects Bitcoin to hit 200,000 by the end of the year. Now, he makes an interesting point that a lot of people are not really realizing, that crypto makes his biggest moves in a 10-day period. It just explodes. Now, I agree with Tom Lee on the timing that it could. Larry is not saying 100% it will. I'm saying it could. And that's why I still have my money into crypto, because I think there's a big chance it still could happen even by the end of this year. And if not the end of this year, it could spill over into next year, 2026, as he further goes on to talk about the cycles moving from a 4-year cycle to a 5-year cycle. But I still think that there's a 4-year cycle because of the halving, but I just think that the cycle is being altered, so the bull run continues longer. That's all I believe. Now, I want you to listen to his prediction on Bitcoin in the next 5 years.
Well, gold moves first, and then Bitcoin catches up. So I think that there is going to be the network value of gold just went up by a lot. And so let's say gold settles at 5,000. That puts fair value of Bitcoin, like 1.6 to 2 million if it matches gold's network value. So I think it's actually helping Bitcoin's future terminal price.
So you think that if gold settles at 5,000, Bitcoin, you take the gold market cap divided by the number of Bitcoin, then you get 1.6 to $2 million per coin. What's the time frame for us to get there?
Well, I can see that in 5 years for Bitcoin.
He said he could see that for 5 years for Bitcoin. 1.6 million to 2 million in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price. That's Tom Lee's Bitcoin's price prediction. 1.6 to 2 million in 5 years. My price prediction was 480 to 500 in 5 years. He's talking about 2 million in 5 years. What do you do with that information? What do you do with that information? Okay. Let's just say, let's split the difference. Let's take the 2 million off the table. Let's split the difference. Let's go lower than 1.6. Let's come down to 1 million. All right. Let's cut Tom Lee's most bullish case down into 1 million, and mine is at 500,000. So let's just say 700. All right. Let's just say 700. Okay. Let's say in 5 years, one Bitcoin could be somewhere in the area of 700, which there are some predictions out there for that. What are you going to do to make that kind of money? That's going to outperform real estate. That's going to outperform the S&P. That's going to outperform anything. That's going to outperform anything. Now, here's what could make that happen. If every single millionaire in America, just America alone, buys one Bitcoin, boom, you're looking at 2 million in 5 years. As a matter of fact, it won't be any Bitcoin left because there's more millionaires in the United States alone than there are Bitcoin. And so the price just skyrockets. That's the possibility of it. What does it require? Patience. There's going to be more liquidation, flush outs, good people. There's going to be negative news. And like you said, anything negative to China, it's negative for crypto or Bitcoin. But we also have, if the China deal, the president and President Xi, Trump and Xi comes to the table, sit down and get this tariff deal worked out, that's going to be positive for Bitcoin, let alone the stock market. Then we have the Fed in a rate cutting, he's in a cutting phase, right? And then the new Fed comes in and he's dovish and he's cutting like crazy. Then that's also bullish for Bitcoin. Then you have the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, over 12 trillion in assets that they manage. And they are saying they're saying to their clients, you should be adding Bitcoin to your balance sheets, okay? All of this is going on right now. And now the wealthy are switching their Bitcoin into ETFs. Here's another thing I want to tell you about an ETF. If you buy IBIT, or any Bitcoin ETF, you could put that in a Roth IRA. Now you have Bitcoin in a tax-free vehicle. And if you ask me, Larry, do you think it's over? I say no. Do you think it's over for alt season? I say no. Because if Bitcoin goes to 200,000, then alt season, even if alt season does not wake up, you're talking about a 3x on some of these. You're talking about a 2 to 3x on some of the altcoins. And then you're talking insane moves with the meme coins. Look at the way they move, okay? Bitcoin, altcoins, meme coins. When crypto winter does come, that's going to be the last time Larry ever sells. As a matter of fact, I'm not selling my Bitcoin. I'm going to sell some of my other altcoins and meme coins, roll it over into cash. And when crypto winter does come, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. And yes, if we do have a pump at the end of the year, I will be setting stop losses on my altcoins, not all of them, but most of them, and my meme coins. I'm going to cash that out. And when crypto winter hits, I'm going to roll that all into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and probably 2 or 3 of my favorite altcoins, but 80% is going into Bitcoin. You guys tell me what you think. You didn't need me to chart crypto. You need to see or hear what was fundamentally sound with crypto. Then you can plan accordingly. All right? If you have not gotten Stock Up You need to. And you need to go straight to, if you just in crypto, you need to go straight to the crypto chapter. And then I want you to, after you finish the entire crypto chapter, take a good couple of weeks and just go through it over and over. Then I want you to rewind and go back to the charting, how to find support and resistance. There's a lot in there that's going to help you with your crypto in Stock Up You. It's going to be the only link in this video. It's in the description below. All right? Have a blessed day. Live, love, laugh, and learn.